As we told you earlier, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be on the debate stage tonight in Iowa. In the second part of our two-part interview, he talked to EWTN's Montse Alvarado about his stance on pro-life issues, the controversy over gender-affirming care, and how it all has impacted his campaign.
You've discussed the life issue, and your stance on that is clear. Obviously, the life issue is very important to you. You're very pro-life, and you've gone back and forth on the best ways to protect life. Is it because it's personal to you? And have you taken losses because you're pro-life?
Well, look, part of it is just who I am and believing in a culture of life, but part of it is also understanding the way America was organized. I mean, the Declaration of Independence says that we are endowed not by government, but by God with certain inalienable rights. And the beginning of that is the right to life itself. And, yes, prior to the Dobbs decision, Florida enacted a 15-week where unborn were protected at 15 weeks, which was fine, but that's like only 4 or 5% of all babies. And so the heartbeat bill that was done provides more robust protections and will end up saving a lot of lives. How that factors in politically, I think on issues that are fundamental, why are you in office? Are you in office to put your finger in the wind and try to contort yourself into a pretzel? Or are you in office to be able to stand up for things that you believe in? And so if you ask me, whether a poll was 80% positive or 80% negative, if you have an unborn with a beating heart that you can see on the sonogram, if you ask me, is that a separate life? I can't just take a poll on that and try to say no, like it is. And so we have a responsibility to do it. But I think what we've also done in Florida and what doesn't get as much attention is, we understand that, parents are in a situation now where it is expensive to raise kids. It factors into their calculation about whether they want to even try to have a family now. So we've done things like all baby items in Florida are tax-free. So when we became governor, I had a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. Our third wasn't even born yet. We signed the permanent dissolution of the tax on all the baby items last year. I came home and I told my wife that, well, at that time, our kids were 6, 5, and 3. And so she just kind of looked at me. She's like, yeah, that's a lot of diapers. Why didn't you do that your first year as governor when our kids were still in diapers? We didn't have Bidenflation then. That was part of the reason why, but we were able to do that.
Do you feel like there's pressure from the elites or from the establishment, even within your own party, to cave on issues of gender ideology or abortion?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've had folks say that they wanted to support me for president financially, but they didn't like the fact that we battled Disney to fight against the gender ideology. We actually banned the mutilation surgeries in Florida for minors. I mean, think about it. You're talking about 12, 13, 14-year-old kids doing these life-altering, irreversible procedures. And what happens is as people get older, the dysphoria resolves itself a lot of times. It's like 80, 90% of it gets resolved by the time people become adults. And yet they've had these things done to them, which they can't change. But the elites definitely are all in on it. There's a lot of people that make money off this with the hormone therapy and all this other stuff. And it shouldn't be about that. I mean, think about it. A 14-year-old would not be able to get a tattoo. A 14-year-old would not be able to sit at a bar and take a shot of whiskey, but yet somehow they could have their private parts taken off. It doesn't make any sense. It's been very, very harmful, and we've taken a strong stand.
You're a Harvard-educated lawyer. You were an AUSA, is that correct? Yep. So you know your way around a courtroom and around litigation. Do you think that the Supreme Court, now that Dobbs is the law of the land, is going to play the same role in the future of the country? Is it as important?
Well, certainly on religious freedom, we are not where we need to be. I mean, this country was founded on the idea that your right to the free exercise of religion is endowed by God and cannot be infringed by the government. Now, that was different from what was the norm prior to America, where you basically had toleration of religion, which meant elites would set boundaries as to your practice, but if your religion infringed on their agenda, you were expected to bend the knee to them. What we have in modern America is not an establishment of religion, of Christianity or traditional faith. What you have is elites trying to establish a religion of secular humanism, and they want that to govern society. And so people of faith, Coach Kennedy in Washington State, He says a prayer at midfield after a high school football game, and he loses his job. Now, yes, he goes up to the Supreme Court and he wins, but the fact that that's even a case shows you that religious freedom is very much up for grabs. So I think the leftist elites in this country, they really want to go back to an era of religious toleration.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you for coming to Florida. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks.